Welcome back to Ramblin' Hoops, everybody. Today is the 27th of February. I'm just going to be talking about a couple of things that I've noticed over the past week of hoops, at least from what I've seen. I want to start off with the Thunder first. Got to bring in my bias here. Let's talk about Chet Holmgren. Guys, he's missed 40 games. 40 games. And he's played six games since missing like that many in a row from injury. In 6 games, he has 20 blocks. 20 blocks. Bro, I know like a fracture is definitely better than like a tear. So it's definitely easier for him to come back, but like at the same time, like a hip, I hate it when my hip feels uncomfortable. I feel like I can't do anything. So I just think it's really crazy to me how he's got 20 blocks in 6 games. And speaking on that, that's he's averaging like 3 point something blocks a game in those six games. So obviously, as everybody knows, in Oklahoma the other day, the Thunder blew an outlandish lead with like 3-4 minutes left in the game to the Timberwolves. And out of nowhere, not everybody, I was seeing a lot of people on Twitter talking about, this goes to show that, like the Thunder aren't really, blah, blah, blah. It goes to show that this and that, they're not really that reliable. Like too many people are holding high standards. You have a lot of fans that I've seen hating on Jalen Williams. It's his 3rd year in the league. People are acting like he should be moving mountains. Now, don't get me wrong. There's a couple of times where like, he is frustrating to watch at times, but he knows that. I think he knows that. And it just comes with the game. People are, everyone's like, everyone at his age, these young guys are still trying to figure out the game. But at the same time, like, it's just nuts to me that one loss. Now, it was a bad loss. Like, the Thunder should not be like, like, no big deal. Like, it should be a thing that they, like, talk about. But it just, like, 46 wins on the season. We have 11 losses or 12 losses. Why are you freaking out? It's not that big of a deal. Obviously, yesterday, the Thunder struggled heavily against the Nets. They ended up winning, but they did struggle a lot, especially in that first half. But Dagnall came out and he was talking about Mark Dagnall, the head coach, was saying that it's the regular season and they're trying to learn from every experience in those, like, in every 82 games. So like, yeah, like we're definitely seeing some things. I'm seeing a lot of people say that they don't like the double big lineup, that they shouldn't do a double big lineup, which I don't really know how I feel about that. I just like to see the team win, really, if I'm going to be honest. And then one thing that I did want to touch up on for the Thunder, Jalen Williams, J-Will, the center, the 6'7" center, not Jalen Dub Williams, Jalen J-Will Williams. It is obvious that he is not a crazy, spectacular, noticeable guy on the court, other than he just like really isn't like good. Kind of struggles on defense at times. Has tried to develop that blocking in the paint, like definitely developed or is trying to develop his paint defense. But I do want to say he doesn't do a lot of things good. I think he is an incredible passer. And when it comes to a player like him, there's not a whole lot of good to talk about, and I don't mean that in any way. Like, he's the energy guy. I never want to see Jalen Williams get traded away. I don't want to see Jay Will get traded away by the Thunder, because it would genuinely hurt me, because I love what he brings to the team, and that's literally just his energy. But he's really good at passing. He's shown flashes in the beginning of his career, but he's not a bad, he can put the money, or he can put the ball where it needs to be. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about Chet's blocking. The fact that Dub is getting hate for no reason, and that Jay Will is a good passer. Luka's revenge game was the other day. Honestly, it was a very lackluster performance. I mean, he got a triple-double, but he shot the ball so bad. But I mean, some of the passes he was making, dude, especially to LeBron, oh my gosh, it looked like Tom Brady and Randy Moss. Holy cow. There was one play where Luka threw it behind the back to Austin Reeves in the left wing, and Luka didn't glance or look in that direction one time and just put the ball exactly where he was from behind the back. That's just, or behind, literally throwing it behind. That just blows my mind. Jackson Hayes. Hey, man. Just sit in that dunker spot. Set a screen. I don't mean to be disrespectful, but it's just Jackson Hayes is not a good basketball player without someone to throw him lobs. That's about it. I just thought the Luka I saw I think it was Rusty Buckets. He was saying how it wasn't that exciting to watch, or he said something like he thinks the actual revenge game will be when it's in Dallas, and I think I agree, because I really it was a fun game to watch. I had a lot of fun watching the game, but it really didn't feel like a revenge game. So yeah, that's just my opinion on it. The Pistons. Malik Beasley, especially last night too. The Pistons beat the Celtics last night. I was not aware of that at all until this morning. Malik Beasley, I think, at 26. I just wanted to talk about Malik Beasley just being just a fantastic shooter this year. Really stepping up and doing what the Pistons need him to do. And they could look really, really good in the playoffs. I think they have a chance to maybe win a series this year. Cade Cunningham been looking so nice. They're calling him the Paradox on Twitter now, which I think is a really cool nickname. But yeah, I love me some Cade Cunningham, especially a point guard with that frame and being able to shoot the ball the way he does. He almost plays in a very slow motion pace, and I love it. But then there's times where he can speed it up and cook people. I love it, dude. I love watching Cade Cunningham. Also the other day, Jokic had 19 assists, and there were some people on Twitter who were not happy about it. They were playing against the Pacers, and they were upset because a couple of assists in some people's eyes that Jokic got was just kind of not embellish. They added an assist, they quite literally padded the stat for him instead of it being an actual assist. And I was watching some of these, and so then I got I got to thinking, what is an actual, like, what constitutes an assist in the league? Because I thought it was like you had a certain amount of time to score the basket before you, like, after you receive the ball. But then when I went to the NBA, it says, it counts as an assist only if the player scoring the goal demonstrates an immediate reaction towards the basket after receiving a pass. I don't really know how you justify that, because at the end of the day, it literally comes down to the scorekeeper's personal determination of what constitutes as an assist. Like, there was one where, like, Michael Porter Jr. really, like, didn't look like he was attempting to make a basket because he started, like, literally creating the shot himself and hit a three, and they counted that as an assist to Jokic, which that one I do disagree on. But there's others that I saw that I assumed or I thought were assists. So yeah, a little funky. I don't really know how you could go about, like, keeping this regulated other than just having, like, it's not people doing that. I really don't know why they did that, really, but it just happened, and it's kind of one of those things where it sucks that it happened, but you kind of just got to move on and just hope it doesn't happen again. But if it, like, continues to be a problem, like, it needs to be addressed. I think the sixth man of the year race is between two players, Peyton Pritchard and Ty Jerome. And honestly, I wouldn't be mad at Ty Jerome getting it. So Peyton Pritchard is averaging 13 points, almost 14. 13 points, almost 4 rebounds, 3.5 assists, with 0.8 steals, 0.2 blocks, and he's shooting 46, 41, 83 as his shooting splits on 27 minutes per game. Ty Jerome is averaging 11.7, 2.5 rebounds, 3.4 assists, 1.2 steals. He's shooting 52, 43, 87 in just 19 minutes per game. And there's times where he literally takes over. Both these guys can take over a game. But I just think the fact that Ty Jerome is basically mirroring what Peyton Pritchard is doing, like, stats-wise, in significantly less minutes, it's kind of crazy. Obviously, Peyton Pritchard is on a really... Both these players are on a really good team. So I don't just want, like, the stats to be the whole meaning of sixth man of the year. Because there also is the eye test. There's other factors that go into it other than just, like, their basic stats. So I just wanted to say that I think it is the sixth man of the year is a lot closer than people think when it comes to, like, who's gonna win it. I honestly believe that it should be between Peyton Pritchard and Ty Jerome, but who really knows? Dyson Daniels is still averaging 3 steals a game. If he keeps this up, first player to do it in 20 years. What? That's nuts, dude. That is nuts. I thought it was crazy. I mean, like, it is crazy that Wemby was averaging 4 blocks a game. But, like, Dyson isn't, like... He has the tools in order to, like, let him do it, but he's not, like, a freak athlete with, like, a crazy wingspan, or... Like, he just knows exactly where to put his hand to poke the ball out. And I love that. I don't think he's going to win DPOY. I think it will probably go to another big between, like, maybe Mobley or maybe Jaren Jackson Jr. I haven't watched a lot of Memphis games, really. So I really don't know how accurate that is. Apparently, he's a favorite. So Jalen Clark just signed from a two-way to a 2-year fully guaranteed deal with the Timberwolves. Yeah. I mean, he showed his defensive ability against Shea. And I think both of the back-to-back games that they played. Yeah, happy for the young man finding a way in the league, showing off his defense, because a lot of the times that's how these second round guys, late round guys, or guys who are just like young kind of make a name for themselves, who are on these two-way contracts, is like they make a name for themselves mainly off of defense. You know, when they play, if you can play good defense, you're going to have a spot in the NBA. Obviously, you can't only just play defense. But if you play good defense, you will be recognized in this league. And Jalen Clark is another person added to that list of being brought into the league for what he has shown. They also did sign Bones Highland to a two-way contract as well. The Timberwolves did, which that's nice. I thought Bones was gonna get a lot more playing time when he was on the Clippers, and he was just the bench guy. He never really got to. He was on the Clippers for a bit. He played well under Russell Westbrook's guidance, but I thought honestly he would, especially when what he showed when he was on the Nuggets. I thought he would be at least a rotation guy. So shout out to Bones for getting that two-way. Shout out to Jalen Clark for getting his 2-year fully guaranteed deal. Hoping to see Bones actually on the court. Now, I want to talk about Jason Tatum. Now, I understand that Jason Tatum is a very, very, very hated, unfairly treated player. But not just any player, a superstar. He is a top 10 player in this league, getting constantly underrated every day. And I know a big portion of that is because he's on the Celtics. Like, a big reason why is because he's on the Celtics. Like, I will be there and I will admit that, like, yes, a big reason why he is so overlooked, so underrated. And I do believe that. I believe he is an underrated player. And it blows my mind to say that a top 10 player is being underrated and disrespected by people, but it's just happening. He came out and said that if you removed his name and just put him down as like player A and put his career like with some of the greats in the league, that like people would actually like respect like player A, not knowing who it would be. And I agree with that. Jason Tatum is a fantastic basketball player. I think he's top 5 in MVP odds. He was last year. And yes, he is on a very good stacked team, but that team really isn't anything without Jason Tatum. He has developed into such a fantastic passer as well over the last few seasons. He can score in any way he wants. He can play some pretty solid defense for you. He can rebound the ball. And he is able to initiate the offense. He's able to facilitate. He's able to get guys hot when they need to get hot. Like, he is willing to be the leader for the team. And to be averaging like 27. What is he averaging? He is averaging 26, 8, and 6. Guys, he's 6'8". He's shooting a little rough from 3 this season, but he's shooting league average. He's shooting league average from 3, 35%. I believe that a lot of fans are very negative when it comes to basketball, when it comes to NBA hoops. No matter what team, like, you are going to find people who just don't like to appreciate it for what it's like, for what it is. They like to think back and have like nostalgia run their brains and think that the new NBA is bad compared to the old NBA. I think that's really stupid. Um, and part of that goes on to Jason Tatum. Now, I'm not lying. I'm not gonna lie. He has done some really cringy things. Like, he's just that kind of guy. There's times where I see him saying things where I'm kind of sitting there like, come on now. But it doesn't. He is 26 years old. Helped take the best team in the league last year to the NBA Finals and win it. He didn't win Eastern Conference Finals MVP or Finals MVP. That went to Jaylen Brown. But part of that was because teams game planned around Jason Tatum, like stopping Jason Tatum. And that led to him being able to pass the ball and get other guys going. So yeah, I just wanted to talk about Jason Tatum. Some people were saying like he might get the nickname Player A, which I thought was pretty cool. Going back to like him saying like if you just put him down as Player A. I just wanted like people to kind of like think and realize like just because he's on the Celtics doesn't mean he's a bad player. He's a fantastic player. He's a top 10 player in the league. He has been for the past few seasons. And yet people are still diminishing what he has done, which I think is just weird and kind of corny. And the last thing I want to talk about is Podcast P, man. Podcast P, man. The other day, he announced that he was going to stop podcasting in order to try to win I think he said try to win a championship. Now, don't get me wrong. Paul George is one of my favorite players of all time. I love watching his highlights, especially Pacers and in Oklahoma City, Paul George. And some of those Clippers years with Paul George, he was a fucking fantastic player. You're not going to win a championship with the Sixers. You guys are playing too bad. Your record is too awful. Joel Embiid should sit out the rest of the season. I mean, his knee is probably disintegrating in his body as we speak. I do believe that he probably should have stopped podcasting, or he should stop podcasting, which it sucks because you could tell he really enjoyed doing it. But he's just not having a good season. And he's still recording these podcasts. I was watching Numbers on the Board, and they were talking about how Paul George has been playing so bad that if they were him, they would literally just stop podcasting until the end of the season. And I think it's really funny that then like the next day he came out and was like he's done podcasting for a bit. But it just blows my mind that he went out and said to try to win a championship. You're not gonna win one. I'm sorry. You aren't. All right, guys. That's it for Ramblin' Hoops. Another short one today. If you liked the video, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, please. It would mean a lot. Hope you all have a fantastic day. Deuces.